is to say thank you on behalf of the charity. We think what you're doing this weekend is amazing. If nothing else, giving up your time freely to Cancer Research UK, we do not take that for granted. And even if you haven't worked this one out yet, we will be working bloody hard over the next 48 hours. So in advance of that, really, thank you very, very much. And over the next few minutes, I want to put some context around this weekend. It's my job. My job is within the charity to oversee all the revenue that comes into the charities on the fundraising marketing director for Cancer Research UK. But we don't do it for its own sake. You're not here just because we like to work, in an innovative environment. We do it for a very good reason. I think that's what I want to talk to you about this morning very quickly. I want to give you a sense of how in fundraising within Cancer Research UK, how we work and why innovation is really important to us. And then I'm just going to finish on showing you a short film about a previous hackathon we did, and that's just designed to put you under ultimate pressure. So, where to start? So, Cancer Research UK, forgive me if you know any of this stuff and you've heard it all before, but I think it's worth saying anyway. Cancer Research UK, we have a vision. That vision is to bring forward the day when all cancers are cured. So that's quite audacious, it's quite a lofty vision. We are the largest charity in the world dedicated to cancer research. Nobody else in the world outside of the US government is spending as much money on Cancer Research UK as we do here in the UK at Cancer Research UK. So I think it's fair to say that we absolutely punch above our weight. It means that we are only funding the very best science in the world. We only recruit the very best scientists in the world. Our work and our world is quite complex. We do what we call bench to bed to bedside, bench to bed to bench research. Very quickly, what that means is that in the laboratories we do what we call basic research, looking at the biology of cancer. Why does the body work in the way that it does? Why do cells divide and get out of control? Cancer forms as a result of it. Why does cancer start in one place and spread around the body? Just trying to understand the behaviours of cancer. We take our knowledge from the lab into the clinic, what we call translational research, and from there what we're trying to do is to invent new treatments for the future. How can we improve patient outcome by developing treatments like whether it's chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or indeed how can we improve and make advances in surgery. So they're the two mainstays of what we do. We are constantly trying to find ways to detect cancer at the very earliest point, so we improve diagnostics. That's important because cancer invariably spreads. 90% of people who die from cancer die because their cancer has spread. It's not the primary source of that cancer which kills them, it's because it's spread. So the earlier you get cancer, as soon as you can find it, the far more likely you are to go and treat it. So early diagnosis is critically important to us. The next area that we work in is around providing information to professionals, but information to individuals, ordinary people, so they can make informed choices about their lifestyle. Because something like half of all cancers are avoidable. We just make different choices in our lives, so that's important. We're trying to, through our research, understand that better and communicate it. And then finally, we spend quite a bit of our time using all that information to campaign and to lobby, mainly government, but it might also be the corporate world, in the commercial space. Inevitably, it's government where we're trying to get laws changed. So an example of that would be, we were right behind making workplaces a smoke-free environment back in 2007. We were right behind that initiative. So that gives you a sense of the type of work we do. It's quite a complex piece of work that we're trying to convey to the public. And the public often don't get us, they don't understand quite what we do, and we're not that visible to them. And so we try to communicate through a number of mediums. What I'd like to show you now is our latest brand advert, which I think just conveys what I've just been talking about. I'll say a bit more about it in a second.
And one day, research will beat cancer. And the more research we do, the sooner that day will come. It's cancer's turn to be afraid.
hopefully you recognise that, you've seen that piece of film before. What we were trying to do through that is, in as simple a way as possible, to absolutely put out there for the world to see that research is the answer. You know, we can only defeat cancer through the work that we do. And so we're trying to absolutely differentiate the work of Cancer Research UK from what other very, laudable and credible charities are doing. We're saying research is the answer. Why do we need to do that? Well, if I tell you that 300,000 people in the UK this year alone will hear the word you've got cancer, they'll get a cancer diagnosis at that scale, about half of those will go on to resume a normal life. You know, they will be treated successfully. That means something like 150,000 people won't. They won't survive that diagnosis. So that tells us this problem is very real to us. We haven't practiced it yet. And throughout the world, that problem is even greater. Cancer remains the biggest killer on the planet. As I said earlier, we have a pivotal role to play in wiping it out. So the need is a real one for society. In fundraising, we are generating in the region of £450 million a year. So we're quite a large. Our scientists are saying they want us to accelerate our success in fundraising. They want to generate at least a third as much again as we're doing at the moment. And that's what they have visibility of today. So if we could raise another £100 million a year, we know that science is there to be funded. We simply can't afford it. But of course, that will lead to even more. So we have to be ambitious in our fundraising. Sharp minds and brave hearts win. And that, again, I think is quite relevant to this weekend's work, in that we're not looking just for the best brains in the world. I mean, we have them, but we're not just looking for bright people. They need to be able to apply that brilliance. At the same time, we're not looking just for creative people or people who are very happy to take risks. That has to be really measured. So you put those two things together and you get something quite special. And we ask every member of staff to think like that. Be brave, but be clever with it. Digital campaign, it's all online, most likely to meet the brief. And the guys who had those ideas, who submitted the briefs, are here with us today. So you'd like to put your hands up so we can see who you are. There you go. Don't be modest about it. These are the guys that came up with the 3 ideas that you'll be working on over this weekend. The idea is really quite simple. We want up to as good an idea as you can. Stress test it, so we would then have the confidence to take one of those to market. To say we're prepared to invest up to £500,000. And really, I'm looking for something like in the first year, I'd say £2 to £5 million back from that investment. And obviously, it needs to be sustainable. It needs to take us over the next 5 to 10 years of growth each year. So it's quite a big challenge. Right, I'm finished now. As I said, one last
about the amazing work that Cancer Research UK does and how we spend that money that our supporters generously donate. You've heard from Dr. Tom and the frankly baffling research that's going on. For me, it was a bit like going back to school and going, oh my God, cancer research is incredibly difficult and challenging, and that's why we need your brains in the room. So what we're going to do now is we've got 3 idea owners in the room, and these are the people who started, when Richard gave that challenge out to Cancer Research UK, started to come up with that kernel of the idea that we're looking for you to help us get that £500,000 worth of investment into. And what they're going to do is they're each going to come up and do a 5 to 10 minute pitch. So they are going to pitch to you guys about what the idea is, why it's brilliant, but what we need your help with.